Testing. Testing.
One, two. No, you're
Okay.
big. You're big.
We are ready to start our board meeting. For you folks in the audience, this year we stream these on YouTube. The legislature passed a law last year that they're to be streamed live. So we're going to make you YouTube stars tonight.
Get excited.
We are live on YouTube now, and
15 minutes.
so we're ready to start the meeting.
All right. Let's go ahead and call our regular meeting of the Wayne County Board of Education to order. It is 6:01. And if you'll stand, we'll say the pledge. Dennis, you want to lead us this evening?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excellent. Let the record show that all board members are present in person this evening. And we can begin this evening's meeting with our recognitions.
Yeah, we have quite a few recognitions this evening, so we'll get started with those. We have certificates for everyone that's attended this evening. There will be a shirt that's delivered to your work site for you as well, with the number that were recognized in this evening. They didn't have quite enough shirts, so we got an order in, and then we'll get those out to you. So let's just start going through the list. First of all, we have Jordan Lucas, who's the Title I reading specialist at Genoa Elementary School. Is Jordan with us? Okay. Next up, Valerie Robinson, first grade classroom teacher at Genoa Elementary School. Valerie, how are you? Valerie is the lead teacher for grades K through 2, and she facilitates all of the K2 PLCs. Valerie's been recognized at least once before, if not a few times, for her work at the school and her work teaching Project Lead the Way for grades K through 2 and how helpful she is at the school. So Valerie, we appreciate you. I'm gonna go ahead and let you grab this certificate.
Thank you.
Next up is Roscoe Spalding, our bus operator, and we got quite a few bus operators. And the theme with the bus operators is going to be consistent this evening. They are being. I'm gonna make sure this is the right one. It is.
Thank you, sir.
Roscoe and the other bus drivers that are here are being recognized. Number one, it kept the same theme kept coming through. You never miss work, and that's an important thing, and that you work well with the folks that are running the bus garage. You're willing to step in, help cover, make sure all the kids get to school in the morning, make sure all kids get home. That was consistent with all of the bus drivers. So we appreciate all of you. Next up, same type of message, Kyle Kreisel. Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it.
Sure. Good job. Thank you.
Also from the transportation department, Mike Newsom. I didn't see Mike come in. Okay, Cassandra Spalding. Is Cassandra with us? Cassandra is a bus operator. She runs a route, rarely complains, and steps in. And again, that's a consistent theme with everybody, including our next person up, which is Audra Stevens. Audra is one of the bus trainers for the state as well. So she helps train all the new drivers. So Audra, we appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
And Audra harasses me too to make sure that the drivers are listed on the agenda and we're getting them hired quickly. So we appreciate that. Cassandra Burton is an ECAT at Sarita Canova Elementary School. Is Cassandra with us? Okay. Angie Donahoe is the secretary here at the central office. She could not be here this evening. She's been recognized before as well. Crystal, I see Crystal's here. Crystal's a bus driver, always willing to help. Come on up. She's a good painter too. James Frasher. Is James here? Another mechanic, Charles Spalding. Ethan. Ethan here. Okay, another ECAT from Fort Gay, Tammy Bailey. Is Tammy with us? And a cook. It's good to see folks from different categories. A cook from Fort Gay, Kathy Johnson. Is Kathy with us? Bevan Chafin, bus driver. Never complains, always helps. Thanks, sir. Christy Ham. Is Christy here? Thank you.
Bus driver.
Yeah. Christy is a bus driver, develops positive relationships with her students, works well with the parents on her route, and is consistent. So we appreciate Christy. Sarah Bailey. I saw Sarah come in. Sarah is a teacher at Spring Valley High School. And if you've been, some of the board members have been in her classroom
Right.
and seen what she does. Folks in the audience, she's a fantastic teacher. And she was recognized because in the fall, when there was the hurricane that caused all the damage, and especially up in the North Carolina area, Sarah had organized the students for some relief drives. Correct, Sarah?
Yeah.
And some of your coworkers were really impressed with that and wanted us to recognize you. So we appreciate what you did. Okay, next up is Danielle West, fifth grade teacher, Sarita Canova Elementary School. This is Danielle with us. Two social workers. Well, one social worker and a communities and school specialist, Lucinda Schroeder and Samantha Ray. I don't think that they were going to be able to make it. As Samantha here, I knew Lucinda wasn't going to be able to make it. Okay. Amy Waller, second grade ECAT, Kellogg Elementary. Hi, Amy. How are you?
Good, how are you?
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Amy, let me read a little bit about what your colleagues say about your work. It says Amy is going above and beyond in her job description in so many ways. She's developed a relationship with the students and goes out of her way to help. She's begun a secret lunch society for students that have good attendance, good behavior all over the school, good work ethic, and participation in class and doing homework. She has lunch with them on Fridays. She wants to start a morning tutoring group to help struggling readers. She's made a flyer for girls and boys to attend by invitation only. She is including both second grade classes. She offers rewards for the students' achievements, works hard with all students, assists the teacher in every lesson that she's doing, and she takes over class when she needs to, when the teacher's out of the room. So, Amy, we appreciate the work that you're doing. Congratulations again. Betty Johnson. I didn't see Betty come in. Okay. Betty's a custodian at Spring Valley High School. Marianne Williamson, autism mentor at Crum. Is Marianne here? Okay. Patty Murphy, interventionist at Crum. I didn't see Patty. Lauren Hensley, counselor at Buffalo Middle School. Lauren, come on up. I know we've recognized Lauren a few times. For the folks in the audience, Lauren was named the state middle school counselor of the year. Lauren, was it last year or the year before? 21-22. She was the state middle school counselor of the year. So we're proud of the work that Lauren does. Robin Queen, Communities and Schools at Wayne High School. I did not see Robin. Lisa Bowen, Secretary at Benson Middle School. Come on up, Lisa. Good to see you. A few words about Lisa. Lisa is extremely helpful and goes the extra mile to make sure the students are taken care of. She's been a great resource and provides care to students when I'm called away to other schools. This was from a nurse that had sent this in. She jumps in to help anytime it's needed. Caring and witty, valuable employee to Wayne County Schools. Lisa, how many years have you been at Benson? Is this your first or second? Okay, gotcha. Okay, next up, Josh Ross, Special Education, Genoa Elementary. Josh here. Okay. Sarah Burke, Art and Music Teacher at Lavalette Elementary. How are you? Good to see you. Sarah's another fabulous teacher, wonderful, uplifting teacher, goes above and beyond to make sure each child is heard and seen. She has an amazing personality and is such a pleasure to be around. Does an excellent job at Lavalette. Thanks, Sarah. Okay, next up, Jessica Willis, Spring Valley High School teacher. Jessica with us. Debbie Kahn, interventionist at Fort Gay Pre-K through 8. Corinne McAtee, Biomed Anatomy, teacher at Wayne High School. Good to see you again. Corinne, you've been with us how long? This is the third year. And she is absolutely fantastic. It's in the biomed program at Wayne High School. We've had some turnover there. We've had some excellent teachers in that program, and we were concerned when we lost the last one, but she has stepped into that position seamlessly. I constantly hear about the job that you're doing, not only from adults, but from students. So we appreciate you. So that is our group for this evening. Usually we have you come to the front, but I think I'm going to have you stay right there. If you guys will just stand up, we're going to get a picture of the group. Board members, if you want to sneak back there with them.
We'll just, how about we just get them
You
to
can kind of get to the sides if you want.
Well, okay.
Come on, Mark. I'll put Mark. There you
Okay, if you can't see me, I can't see you. Well, we got some family members hiding, but that's okay. Sarah, step over there to the right.
Well, but then you won't see her at all.
Well, to my right, to your left.
Over here. Can you see Lisa?
No, she needs to scoot over by you. As I always say, we need elementary principals around to do this part of it. Okay, everybody look. Cheese. Fantastic. We appreciate you all. You guys are more than welcome to stick around for the rest of the meeting, but if you want to sneak out, feel free. We know you got to work tomorrow.
I see Tyson very regularly. They keep telling me Devin's going to show up. So happened last time. They said it's going to be. And then Tyson walked in. He's like, Devin.
Oh, I bet she loves you. Oh, no, not bad.
Ollie.
Oh, good. There. Oh,
That makes me old. Nice to meet you.
I was going to say that you're smiling now, but you were smiling that whole last 6 months.
Now you're beaming.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you. See
Thank
you.
you,
Hey,
guys.
Brenda. Bye, honey.
Thank you. You too. All right. That was nice. Nice crowd. That's just us.
Yeah, good representation there, and it's nice when we get recognitions for multiple categories.
Very nice. All right, we can move on to our presentations.
Yeah, you have the measuring success document laid out for you. We're going to go to page, I believe it's page 10.
Okay.
There's just a couple updates, so I told Nikki I would cover it this evening.
Gotcha.
I'm looking forward to January when we start getting some winter benchmark data back.
All right.
But at the bottom of page 10, you'll see an update on our percentage of students who are chronically absent. And it actually, in the 23-24 school year, you can see we were at 33%. And that number as of November 2024 is at 26% for this year.
That's nice.
Okay, so that's
That's significant.
now it tends to drop a little bit as the year goes.
Oh, yeah.
But we're wanting to see a improvement there, and we've been emphasizing it to the school leaders that it's important that we're doing everything we can to address the chronic absence issue. So we're at 26% right now. So that's positive for now. We'll keep an eye on it. But what's even more encouraging, if you turn to page 11. I mentioned as time goes on, that number tends to creep up a little bit, but look what's going on with our percentage of staff chronically absent. So in November, it was at 23%, and in December, that number is down to 17%.
Nice.
So that's a good sign as well. So those are positive numbers, and we'll keep track as the months proceed. So that's really the only updates for this evening. There are some updates on the final pages on some walkthrough numbers, but the chronic absence numbers is what we wanted to concentrate on.
Perfect. Good information. Go along with our good news. Anyone have any good news to share?
I saw in the, we've been looking forward to basketball season because we know we've got some good teams in the county, and I don't know if it still holds because that changes game to game. But last I saw that we had Wayne High School and Spring Valley High School ranked 1. I think Wayne was ranked 1, and maybe Spring Valley was ranked 2 in their respective conferences in girls basketball. So they're off to a good start.
It'll be a fun season. All right. Anybody else? Okay, moving on to informational items. No school December 23rd through January 2nd. It's our Christmas break. Regular meeting on Tuesday, January 14th, beginning at 6 here in the conference room. Special meeting on Tuesday, January 21st, beginning at 4 Fort Gay in the library. Pritchard to follow, beginning at 5:15 in the cafeteria. Regular meeting on Tuesday, January 28th, beginning at 6 here in the conference room. Construction project updates.
Yes, and so I've actually brought you some documents this time. There's a couple things I wanted to share with you. Dennis, I'm going to pass one down there for Randy as well. Pass these that way.
Fingers to work.
So this is an update from our contractor, EP Leach and Sons, about the Wayne Elementary classroom addition. And you can see that they poured the remaining 50% of the floor slab on Monday, December 9th. So the floor is complete. The concrete floor is complete on the project. And the bar joist and decking was delivered to the site. and is ready to go on for the roof. The masons are working to lay the courses of block around the foundation. That is coming along nicely. Of course, some of the weather this week has canceled some of the work days. They couldn't work in the pouring rain, so it's delayed it a little bit. So the work plan for the next 2 weeks, masons plan to finish block within the next 2 weeks, and then they're hopefully have it under roof here within the next few weeks.
Nice.
And you can see there at the bottom, as far as schedule issues go, they've had 6 days of bad weather that have kept the masons from working, but things are moving along. The anticipated completion date on this project is to be complete before school reopens in August. Okay. I'm going to send you now. I'm going to give you another piece of paper. This is on the Buffalo K-8 project. Dennis, if you'll take one, pass it down.
Thank you.
These are renderings of the draft design for the school. And again, as you're aware, we're working through the design process now. So we're still in draft stage, still making tweaks. But here are some of the renderings that the McKinley Architects have shared with us. The addition to the building is in the dark portion that you see. The light portion of the building is the existing building. We've already asked for some tweaks to this design, but it just gives you an idea of what it's going to look like. And then there's some more items on page 2. A little bit more of an aerial view. And so we have met with the architects and the school leaders regarding the needs of the building. And then we met on site with the architects, walked through the whole facility, and then we have started involving design teams at each school to give us feedback. So currently where we are is we have the electronic floor plans, and we are going to provide feedback on the electronic floor plans by the second week of January. And then we're going to try to get those floor plans finalized. We had spoke earlier this fall about bidding for construction management services for this project because this is a complicated project to have a firm that was watching over the project in addition to the architects. And I have that bid that's ready to go out. So we'll be advertising for that right after the holidays. Any questions regarding the progress there?
Have you done anything on the traffic pattern there?
Yes. So we've had traffic studies completed there. The Department of Transportation has been involved in looking at those plans as well. They've told us that we're going to meet, and we've asked for a meeting with their civil engineers. We're supposed to meet right after Christmas break to discuss the traffic flow and how the traffic patterns will work.
I know our, recent LSIC, talking to Wayne Middle, and trying to have something to keep them out of the weather to catch the bus. Is that anything to be concerned about when we do this Buffalo project?
Yeah, and we're addressing that. So one of the changes that we've asked for, if you look at the second on the front page, the second picture down on the right, you see that awning?
Yeah.
So what we've asked to help tie in the buildings together, if you look the second picture down on the left-hand side, you see a little bit more from a distance, that awning. We've asked for that awning to come across the front of the existing middle school as well, and for that to be L-shaped to help tie in the two schools. And then we also anticipate that the bus loop is going to come right there as well. So that would provide some additional space there, some additional coverage.
Yeah, it's good, because obviously we can't do everything at every school
Right.
immediately, but a new project and that being an issue.
Do it
Right.
now.
Take care of it.
Yeah.
So we're trying to separate the bus loop from the
Yes,
parents.
yes.
Absolutely.
I come through there yesterday and backed up on in the evening.
Yeah.
Almost to
Rocky
Rocky
Tops.
Tops.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, isn't it?
Any other questions? So I do want to update you. The Sarita Canova Elementary School opened in, I think, 2017. We've had some issues there with water penetration. And we addressed those 2.5 years ago. And Neighborgall is the contractor, and Neighborgall does a fantastic job. Their subcontractor that did the masonry work, there were some issues there. So anyway, they came back about 2.5 years ago, took off some of the masonry work and redid it. And we hadn't had any problems since then, but we recently was reported that we're having more of those type of issues, water penetration issues on that building, around windows, things like that. So Neighborgall met with us this week. I believe it was maybe Tuesday morning. Met Neighborgall down at the site, and they went in and reviewed everything. And they're gonna come back and do some more work there to help get those issues solved. And Tracy West is Neighborgall's representative. He's a Wayne County resident. He was involved in our HVAC projects through the that we did this summer, the multi-school HVAC projects, and he's been involved in a number of our projects. So he's on it. So I'll keep you updated as we move along. But there's going to have to be some remediation that occurs on those projects as well. And I believe that's all I have.
All right, great. Excellent. I think we have no delegations this evening.
Light audience this evening.
I don't
Nice.
see any.
Superintendent reports.
Yeah. No, I really don't have anything. At the last board meeting, we talked about getting a list of Mason and Berry expenditures for the year. So I've shared that with you by email after the conclusion of the last meeting. I think we had a volume of expenditures of about $316,000 to Mason and Berry for the year. And of course, we spoke at the last meeting that Mason and Berry was our low bidder on the controls for Wayne Elementary. And then they were Neighborgall's subcontractor on the multi-school HVAC project. And so they've been involved in all those projects. So there's been about $30,000 that we've spent this fall, beginning on August 30th, for them to come in and help do some remediation on some problems that we were having at a number of schools. So I provided you a list of those school sites and how much each of those projects were. So you have that information. If there's any questions or.
Yeah, I do have a question
Sure.
on, I was noticed on some of those where there was a tech from Mason and Berry that was with our tech.
Mhm.
Is that charged by the hour? Because that was a pretty big number, I thought. And I was just wondering if they were charging by the hour or how does that work?
Yeah, and let me clarify before I answer. You know, I think I have a pretty good grasp on how that works, but I don't want to tell you anything wrong. So let me follow up on it. But my understanding is that, yeah, there's an hourly charge that goes with that. And then if there's parts involved, you know, things that are pulled off their trucks to fix the problem, then we end up paying for the parts as well. And so it could be a combination of the two, but let me verify that.
Okay.
Okay.
And I guess the other thing I'd spoke with you about was the units that were extra units at Wayne High School where they were taking parts off of those to fix the other new units that were installed this summer. Have you checked to make sure that they're replacing those new parts,
Taking no parts.
taking new parts? There was a couple of extra units that was in the HVAC room
Putting on the old one.
Couple of the air sys units. Yeah, I don't have an answer. don't-
repairing the new units with those extra units.
Yeah, I don't have an answer on that, but I'll have you one by the next meeting.
You know, I just wanted to make sure we were keeping track because if you're taking parts off of a new unit to put on another new unit,
That kind of leaves that other unit deficient. Right, the other new unit.
You just have to order the parts for the other.
Well, it's my understanding that there, you remember when there was some mix-ups about the deliveries and the units and the power
Right,
that was supplied at the schools, and we had to go back and do some power upgrades. And
right.
the shipping company paid for the power upgrades, I think, down at Tulsa, and then McKinley paid because it was their error on their specs that resulted in Wayne Metal. It's my understanding that there were some extra units and that those units were given to us. And I think that they were given to the HVAC program down at the high school, or they're stored down there. But as far as us pulling stuff off of them, Mark had mentioned that to me, but I haven't followed up on it yet, but I will.
I think my only question on that list was leaks. That's pretty general. And I just,
What?
leaks, it just says leaks. There was like one for like $7,000 or something like that. That might be leaks in
Did we get
parts.
that in an email?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I've been having trouble with my K-12.
Just wonder what's leaking.
Is that
Why
free
is it
on
leaking?
leaks or, because I had the same question. I forgot about that, Missy.
Just
They
what's
make you
leaking.
Do your sign in again thing on it every, what, 2 or 3 months?
No, I've had more trouble with
I called Joe today and he gave me a new sign in and it didn't work. So I'm gonna have to aggravate him tomorrow too.
That's
I'll
right.
be out here tomorrow though.
That's what he's here for. It's okay.
We'll get some additional information on the leaks, and then going forward, what we can do is, we can look at those hourly rates, and we could possibly advertise. And
I think we should, if we can, throw some competition in there and see if we can't
Yeah.
get a better
we
better
do,
rate
we
for
do have a new
ourselves.
company that's helping us. And I mentioned that at the last meeting. We have a new company. I think it's a DeBraw, is helping down at the Crum, so they're going to be more involved down there. But yeah, we can advertise for some hourly rates and look at some different options.
And I know that back in the summer, right after I came on board, that there was some talk about one of our maintenance guys, our HVAC guys, had been going to class or were going to go to class to work on these
Right.
Mason and Berry units.
Yeah, the state will support. The state tries to support the HVAC crews in the various counties to get them trained up to work on these units. So we've had some folks that I can have them come and give you an update. The state had arranged for them to go to some heating classes. There were some specific boiler units and things that we have active that they were involved in. But I can get you an update on that too.
That seems needful to me.
Yeah.
But is the Bailey man, was he with our guy? Is he,
If our guy can't fix it,
okay,
And
because
we-
Mark
and-
was talking about him being with one of our mechanics and I'm thinking.
yeah. So like if our technician cannot fix it,
Uh-huh.
they will call them in.
Okay,
And then oftentimes they will go with them so that if a similar thing happens,
they can watch.
they can learn
Okay,
from
that's what I
what's
wondered,
going on.
'cause, why would ours have to be there if, if the Bailey guy was there?
Yeah, what's aggravating is when you look at the list, a lot of that HVAC is newer HVAC.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. If it's new, why is it leaking?
So,
Right.
we completely replaced, Mark, before you were on the board, we completely replaced the HVAC out at Spring Valley. And of course, Fort Gay opened,
10 years ago.
10 years
10 years ago. And we've had more issues then than anywhere. By the way, I
A lot
asked,
of issues at Fort K.
There is.
we brought our architects back in, the original architects we had them send an HVAC engineer down this past week to go back over everything. And we think we found something that's going to assist and cut down on the number of errors there. And it had to do with the layout of the piping on the roof that might have caused some issues. And they explained it to me. I don't deal with it, so I'm not going to try to
That
explain
was
it again.
HVAC talk, right,
Right.
Todd?
Yeah. HVAC talk. They explained what they thought what might be the issue, but we think that there was a piping issue there. So they're supposed to send me the specific recommendations for us to fix that. So we think we're going to make some progress there. Our biggest trouble down at Crum is there's nobody to work on it. Mason and Berry doesn't have qualified technicians to work on those systems. And
Different.
they don't know. Yeah, they're different. It's a different type system. So they don't know exactly how to work on those. And so we've had a difficult time getting any help down there.
Why do we allow that to come into our schools?
That's an architect. I mean, that's the architect's design.
It's a low bid thing when they did the design of the school. So,
You wanna know who our architect was?
so they do,
Swope.
they
He was
do.
a
That was a
construction
contractor.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was a contractor.
Right. So that, they put out the specs and then they can use the systems they want if they meet those specs. And so we ended up with Mitsubishi units down at Crum. Well, we don't, I think I'm 98% sure I'm accurate in this. I don't think we have another Mitsubishi unit anywhere. So our guys never work on them. So if there's an issue there, they have very little experience with them. So we try to bring in people to help, and then our guys learn from them. But there's nobody, we couldn't find anybody outside of like Roanoke, Virginia that would work on them. And it was exorbitant to get them to come here and work on those. But our maintenance staff has been working on locating the company. We think we found one. So we're in much better shape there with those newer units. Of course, that building opened in 2017. We're in much better shape there than we have been. But it's a challenge. A lot of times you have to go to Texas or down to Georgia or whatever to get that training. But I've told our guys we'll sponsor that because it'll pay in the long run for us
Absolutely.
if we can get them down there and get them trained. And so that's, they said the state was identifying and the state was going to pay for it. For them to go down and get training and things like that. So, we've been waiting and have made some inquiries about, when certain trainings are going to take place. But when you got these different units, not all the training is applicable.
Exactly.
So we can relate that back to the Buffalo K through 8 project. Mark, you're exactly right on the Buffalo K through 8 project. We need to have a hand in what systems go in there.
Yes.
And what I liked about what we did this summer with those AirSys units in multiple schools is that those are classroom units. So if one goes down,
Your whole wing isn't.
the classroom's down and not 6 classrooms are down or the whole school down type thing. And so, we need to look and see, and those classroom units are better air quality now. And so, I would even consider putting something like that in, but that's an SBA project. So they're going to have some say in that as well, as far as the standards and what we put in. And of course, anything we would put in would meet
Standards.
would meet the standards. But, we're going to have some discussions about what we can maintain, what our guys are used to working on. Same thing with buses. You buy buses that they're not used to working on, you're just slowing down the process of getting things fixed. So that's going to be a key discussion on the Buffalo project as well.
How many HVAC guys do we have?
We have 4, I think 4.
Really?
Yeah.
But they're all younger, right? Who's the old,
Yeah.
That's what I thought. There's no,
Yeah, we've had quite a bit of turnover
I
there.
know it, yeah.
And they're in high demand, so it's hard to, if you get a
They
good one,
Paid more too.
yeah, they can make
Pay.
quite a bit more.
I know it, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just wondered how many we had. I didn't realize. I thought it was even less than that. Okay.
I got one more question on that.
Sure.
Those Wayne High School units especially. That caulking that I showed, we talked about around those units, those new units on the install. You told me they were going to be putting caulking around that. Is that going to be the contractor's responsibility or is that okay? Because I will say we shouldn't have to send a maintenance guy down there to do that,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
No, I've got I got an email today from the architect. The architects were down here yesterday for the Wayne Elementary School project. And so I reported it to them and asked them to go over and look it over. So they've already gotten in contact with the contractor and asked the contractor to come and address the issue.
And for you other members, and I was at Wayne High School and I showed pictures to Mr. Alexander. You could literally places between the windows where those units go to the outside, your fingers could go through those windows and the air was just whistling in and around.
Wow.
So that's what I was talking about.
This was down on the old side of the Wayne High School.
That one
building.
was, yes.
Yeah.
Do we have, how many of those
Why
Were
would they
they-
leave it like
how
that?
many were involved? How many units were
I
there?
didn't go in
like
every
that?
room. I just was like in that one area because I was just down there.
I went, he told me I took maintenance down with me. We went down to the specific room. So it was the art room down at the high school. And there was some air coming through there. I think that portion, if I remember correctly, was maybe metal panel where they, for the walls.
Right.
I think that's where the issue was because when we went to some of the classrooms, they were sealed up tight.
Okay,
But they should have caught it, so they're coming back down to address it.
that's good. As long as they fix it, and they're the ones fixing it.
Yeah.
Should be good.
That's all I have.
All right. No board directives or board reports this evening. Unfinished business, we have none. So new business consent action items, the superintendent recommends approval of the following action items. Additional items received prior to the time of the meeting may be added. Discussion and or separate action of items may be requested by members of the board and or the superintendent. Items are subject to change. Any blanks will be filled in prior to the meeting. In the event nominees withdraw, we reserve the right to put the next candidate in the position. Number 1, consider for approval the recommended personnel matters, pages 1 and 2.
You have those, and so I think the only change was on page 2.
Yeah.
They just added the word only for that volunteer job.
Okay, 1 year.
Yeah. I'll make a motion
Second.
to approve as revised.
Motion by Jonita, second by Mark.
And let me mention, there's a suspension listed on there,
Yes.
and
As revised.
I provided you this evening. I provided you a copy of the suspension letter, so I want to give you a chance to read through that if you haven't.
Great day.
There was no request for a hearing.
Okay.
And I was going to state that, and with all these matters, employees have the right to request a hearing with the board to be heard, and there was no request for a hearing in this matter. The suspension has already occurred, and so if by chance the board would not approve it, we would go back and change the record, and the suspension wouldn't stand. But in this case, the person's already served the suspension, so I'm just asking you to ratify that decision this evening.
Okay, so she's back to work.
Yeah, she's back to work. And the name is Taisha Grimmett.
Any other questions or concerns?
How long was the suspension?
1 day.
1 day?
No other questions, concerns? All in favor of personnel matters?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Number 2, consider for approval, purchase requisition order and quotes in excess of $5,000 on page 3. Motion,
Motion.
Randy, second.
Second.
Johnita. Questions, concerns, discussion?
Of course, I have questions.
Who made the motion?
Randy.
Randy.
Johnita made the second.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Mark, did you have a question?
I do. Blanket purchase order for parts for county buses and county vehicles.
This is the blanket purchase orders to U.S. Bank National Association, meaning it's for the credit card.
So I guess, is this for a whole year? This seems, I'll just be honest with you, this seems like a large amount of money to me that to being approved at one time. I would rather personally see it broken down as that's me speaking.
It says 2024 to 25 school year, but you'd have thought they would have done it earlier in the year if it was all.
They
year.
did. These,
So this is the
yeah,
second
this
one.
is broken down
Yeah.
from the
So this is the
overall
first-
picture. Yeah.
Probably a half a year then, maybe.
We had it on the,
Yeah.
Probably budget materials that we reviewed at the last meeting. That was included in there about the parts expenditures. I can go, let me go pull it real quick. See where we are for the year.
We can almost buy a bus or two with that.
$300,000 is a lot of money to me.
Me too.
I personally just don't like blanket purchase orders, especially large ones. I know that you have to do them.
Right, exactly. Yep.
Right.
We meet every 2 weeks.
Huh.
Yeah.
So we meet every 2 weeks.
Exactly.
You get buy a bus or two, soon you get buses.
Right. But you have to wait 2 years to get a
Yeah,
bus.
we wouldn't get them right now, but we could buy a couple.
Right.
Let me find the right page.
Those are extras.
Yeah, it looks like year-to-date expense has been around about 295,000. So I think that they probably opened one on July 1st. They've opened one for 300,000. So this is a second. So they do break it down, and there used to be like huge purchase requests, $1 million or whatever. So they do break it down. They broke it down to 300,000. If you want to propose, it's broken down shorter than that. We can certainly consider that.
I would like to see that myself.
What type of amount are you talking? 150?
150, I think, would be ample. That would be my suggestion.
Either that or maybe, I mean, I know this just encumbers this money. This doesn't just give, it's not just like set aside. I mean, it is set aside, but it's not.
It allows
Like
for the
They can
credit card
spend
bill
that
to
much.
be
You got it.
paid
They
as
can
it comes
spend that
through.
much on it.
Maybe we get, if they're at $290-some thousand right now, what exactly are we buying with that type of money, worldwide equipment? Does that include bus purchase or just bus parts
know.
and gas
It's not
and?
right.
That's
perfect.
that's maintenance and repair services. So that could include work that
Tires.
could include work that our mechanics can't do that actually happens up there, and then parts as well.
I think I would be more interested in seeing what we've spent $295,000 on up to this point, rather than, a smaller purchase order coming to me.
That's
Blank.
something I'm wondering. My gosh, we've got to have a past history. Do they have that? I mean,
Yeah.
This year.
Have we
this half
spent more
year,
this year?
You
Yeah.
can look at it.
Yeah.
If you got 5 years or so, unless something
Well,
really.
to me,
crazy,
300,000.
it's like-
Yeah,
Consider the problem we had a few years back.
That was
Right.
actually my next question. Is this on par with previous years is what I was
Right.
getting at.
And we do have like we have an
Okay, so-
inventory system now too, so that
Yeah, and
Helps.
I provided you with a lot of information at the last meeting, but at the last meeting, we had tracked this. This was one of the line items. So in 2022, we had spent 346,000, and I'm rounding off. We had spent $346,000 at this point. In 2023, it was $550,000 at this point. In 2024, it was 468,000, and then this year it's at 295,000.
so we're doing better than we have in the past.
Yeah, and the budget for the year was set at $720,000.
Now, is this just mainly for the buses? Because don't we like get county cars service at CB&H and other places too?
Yeah, no, this is buses. Yeah, we do. Yeah,
How many buses does the county have?
nine.
90.
We operate. You have just under 90 that are running that are full time on the road every day, and then we have a set of spares as well. And again, Mark, I'm going from the top of my head, so don't hold me to it. But you're looking at probably 10 to 15 spares.
But it's got county buses and county vehicles on here.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Separate.
Those things
How many
that
county
catch
vehicles do
cars
we
and
have
everything
now?
else.
We shouldn't have very many, do we?
What do we pay for an individual bus?
No, not near as many as we used to. So we've got the maintenance vehicles.
150, 175.
Transportation has some county vehicles.
$175,000
They're
bus.
work trucks, and then
So the parts are expensive
there's a
too.
Jeep down there. You have my car, Matt Stanley's car. We have some cars that technology department uses to travel within the county. I'll tell you where mileage is now, like we talked about at the last meeting. The county, but we had auctioned some off, so no, there's not too many. But I can get you a list.
No, I didn't think they were near as many. as
Yeah.
we used to.
Is
Yeah,
your
it's a
is your
small
vehicle the only one that goes home with you? I mean,
Yes.
like
Well, no, if you live in the county, like the maintenance guys, their vehicles go home with them.
Right.
And the maintenance guys, their vehicles go home with them. Bill Priest's goes home with him, transportation director, about half a mile. His goes home with him.
Didn't he
And
get out didn't he go out on snow days and
Yeah.
things like that? He has to have it to get out and check and see if we're gonna call off school in certain areas, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So I think let's do this. Let's in January. I'll get Bill up here and we'll go over a breakdown of the transportation department spending. We'll look at and then we can look at the other vehicles as well. A list of the other vehicles, what we have.
That's good.
It's no problem.
Okay.
Was either, why did technology people take their cars home?
Do what?
Why do the technology people take their cars home? They don't have emergencies.
If the folks are well, it depends. It depends on where they're working at. So like if they're working at Wayne High and they live in Wayne, yeah, they'll just take them home.
Right.
And if their home site is out at the Buffalo office, but they're going to be at Tulsa the next morning and they're going to Wayne, then they just take them and then they go straight to Tulsa.
They don't drive them every day.
You're right.
Okay. I was
Right.
thinking they would
So-
take them home every day and,
Just to the different sites, I think.
uh,
Just from home to the next site. You know what I mean?
In county people will take them home.
okay.
But I don't, we have very few cars left that anybody's driving
know.
like on a permanent basis. But we went over that list last year. I can't remember how many were on that list, but we'll redo it. We'll bring the list back to you.
Yeah, when we first came on the board, a lot of that was cut back and you were here shortly too.
Yeah.
looked
Yeah,
at
we
it,
auctioned off several
Yeah.
cars and
Even cut back some
Nurses. Or nurses
positions
use-
in
Yeah,
the central office.
yeah, we've got some cars that the nurses drive from school to school. And again, if they drive those cars, we don't have to pay mileage. Now they don't, those stay at the school location.
Knowledge
It
goes up
adds
too. Let
up.
me tell you, look at some of the ones, the mileage checks are big.
Mhm.
They are. So you wonder if it kind of balances out to,
Right. sometimes,
some cars for them to drive.
But I'll tell you what else we can look at. And what would be interesting to look at is the fuel cost as well, and how that's changed, from year to year. And so yeah, we can look at all that.
now some of this fuel cost and things like that, we get reimbursed for bus fuel. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so we may spend it out this year, but we'll get it back next year.
But
Okay,
not the
I'll
whole
let
amount.
Bill.
right, not the whole.
Not the whole amount.
And same thing with parts. We get reimbursed some on parts as well. But again, that's not my forte. So I'll let Bill
That's not
speak
your
to that in
bailiwick,
January.
is it?
No, don't want to tell you something wrong.
Gotcha. Well, it's a good idea to have him come up and
Yeah.
break it all down for us. and-
Yeah.
In coach talk, he's the manager, not the position coach.
All right. Any other questions, concerns, discussions on the requisitions?
But Mark, if it's all right, I'd like to move forward with that PO, and then from this point, we'll go over that spending, and then from this point forward, we'll break those down to 150. If that's all right with you.
Does the other board, I mean,
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think as long as we
Fine. Just tell me you can't spend any more this
know,
year.
yeah,
Okay.
what we're spending it on, I think that's,
Yeah.
I'd like to know up front what we're
Me
spending
too.
it on.
Yeah, I think knowing up front and having a rundown from time to time would be more effective than cutting down the number where you have to go back every time. But either way,
Just
don't
as long
matter
as
to
we
me.
are aware of what's going on.
it's like, I'll be
Exactly,
honest
that's
with you.
it.
I'm probably going to ask for itemized lists on our expenditures, like those bank cards and stuff. I just, not that I don't trust anybody. It's just the fact that when we're spending our taxpayer money on big chunks like that, and we're talking about having to cut our budget in, I think we need to really start scrunching everything that we possibly can in. to try
Mark,
to-
we've been concerned with taxpayers' money ever since I've been on the board. We've been real careful with it. And, but if we can go at it more, it don't matter to me.
Yeah, the more eyes, the better.
Better believe it.
All right.
We could cite examples.
Okay, so we're okay to move forward with this one, everyone? All
Okay.
right. All right, all in favor then?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. New business, separate action items,
We didn't have any new business this evening.
and potential items for a future agenda. Anyone?
Oh, go ahead.
I'd like to look into what the traffic patterns are going to be like and get an update on that.
Oh, yeah,
It affects me. I mean, I'm being personal about it, I guess.
right.
Yeah, we should have a drawing pretty soon. And as soon as we have that drawing, we'll bring it to you.
But my concern is there's a couple of schools where they designed it to keep the buses away from the kids and the pedestrian cars. And they haven't followed through on them. And safety wise, especially there, I think it needs to be followed through on. It needs to be planned out correctly.
Right,
Because you're going to have middle school and elementary and
right. We've got a close eye on it, I promise.
Yeah, it's been a big point of the discussion, but we'll bring you the proposals just as soon as we have them. We should have them in January. A couple of things I want to mention. At the last board meeting, we talked about the properties
Yep.
that we currently aren't using for any school purposes, and that includes the gyms at Fort Gay, Westmoreland, and Buffalo. I've contacted the entities that currently use those buildings and told them that the board's wanting to consider moving on from those, and that we're going to accept proposals. Anything that they want to propose, they need to have to me by January 10th. So I've talked to the Fort Gay City Council. I talked to Playmates. I'm going to contact the Huntington City Council about the Westmoreland property. I've talked to Mr. Kilgore. The Little League is the big user of the property up in Buffalo. I've talked to him. So if there's anybody in particular that you want me to have a conversation with, let me know. And then the other item in January, I've mentioned this before, and we haven't followed through as of yet, but I'm going to follow through in January, getting legal updates on any court cases that we've got going on.
Oh, yeah. we
So
haven't
any-
done that for a while.
Yeah, we haven't done that for a while. We need to get back on that. So any lawsuits or grievances or anything that we have going on, I'll have the attorneys that are handling those matters update you guys.
that Buffalo concerned just with the old gym, not the ball field?
Yeah, just the old gym. That's all I have.
Got a question for you, Mr. Alexander. Did Dave Cottle get a hold of you about the title on the fire truck?
Yes. I
You do have it?
Yeah, I have it. It's over there in the office.
All right.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Beat me to it, but I second it.
Motion by Jenny, second by Dennis.
Beats Randy.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. It is 7:01.
Okay, for those folks online, that concludes our meeting. Thank you for joining us.
How many, Todd? How many?